Right, and 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to video B. Teach together, try improper fractions. You're watching this because you have demonstrated that you don't understand them yet because you didn't pass the test. That's okay. You're a student, so you're learning. One day you'll understand them perfectly. I hope at the end of this video or the one after it. We'll see. Let's just quickly review. We did a pre-test. We looked at proper fractions, number smaller on the top than the bottom. Then we looked at improper fractions, number bigger on the top than the bottom. The numerator is bigger than the denominator. We looked what 9/5 actually looks like. So there's, one pizza with 5/5 and another pizza with 4/5. So that's altogether 9/5. And then we looked at 6/4, one pizza with 4/4 and another pizza with 2/4. And then we ended off by saying an improper fraction is a fraction where the numerator is bigger than the denominator. Let's look at more work with improper fractions. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you a number line and how improper fractions might relate to a number line. Okay, so I'm just going to do some magic here and it's all going to appear. Okay guys, there's my number line, and of course you can see the number 1 and you can see the number 2 and you see the number 3, and the number line is actually divided into halves, isn't it? So this is actually 1.5, isn't it? And this is 2, and this is 2.5, and this is 3, and I think you understand that. Okay, I think you probably understand that. And if I said to you, put a dot at 1.5, you would quite capably, I believe, just go, alright, that's 1 and that's 1.5, and I'm just going to put a dot there. Easy. I'm pretty sure you've got that. I'm pretty sure that you've got that. If I said put a dot at 2, you'd put a dot there. If I said put a dot at 2.5, you'd put a dot there. If you don't understand that, you're going to have to watch some of the earlier videos, I think. But let's assume you understand that. And just to make it even more visually clear, let's remember that 1.5 is just like one whole, isn't it? And of course it's also one whole and a half. Okay, so there's 1.5 pizzas, and here's 1.5 on the number line. Okay, I hope that makes that clear. Well, what's this got to do with improper fractions? Well, let's change this number line from proper fractions, nice normal looking fractions. Let's change it into an improper fraction number line, and I'm just going to do that now. I'm going to do it just by rubbing a few things down, and I'm going to make you watch so you understand what I'm doing. Okay, now number 1 over here. Thank you. Here's number 1. We know that's just one whole, don't we? That's just one whole. That's like one whole pizza. But this here, this is 1.5, so that's going to be one whole pizza and half of one, isn't it? Okay? So, just let me suggest this to you. Right, this one here, this one whole, is actually 2 halves, isn't it? Because there's 1 half there and 1 half there. So we can call that 2 halves, 2 over 2. One's the same as 2 over 2, it's 2 halves. This 1.5 here, that's actually the same as, well, 1, 2, 3 halves. So we can call that 3 halves, can't we? This 2 here, well, let's do our 2 pizzas. Alright. This 2 here is actually the same. Oh, sorry about that. Make my peaches red. This 2 here is, of course, actually the same as 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the same as 4 halves, isn't it? Okay. This here, which we'd normally call 2.5, well, there's 1, 2 and a half pizzas. I'll just colour in the half to make it make sense. Right, 1 half, 2 half, 3 half, 4 half. Right, 2 and a half. Right, look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many halves is that? That's really 5 and a half. Not 5 and a half, Mr. Burns. It's not 5 and a half. Please forget that. It's 5 halves, isn't it? 2.5 is the same as 5 halves. And you know what? I wonder if you can work out what 3 whole pizzas. How many halves is 3 whole pizzas? How many halves is 3 whole pizzas? Just count them up. You can pause me and count them up if you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6 halves. Okay? That's 6 halves. Right. I hope that's been useful to you. I hope you can see that 1 is the same as, 1 whole pizza, which is 2 halves, really, put together, so that equals 2 halves. I hope you can see that 1.5 is the same as, 1.5 pizzas, which is actually 3 halves of a pizza altogether. I hope you can see that 2 is the same as, 2 whole pizzas, which if you divide them into halves, equals 4 halves in total. I hope you can see that 2.5 over here is actually the same as, 2.5 pizzas, okay, and that means we've got, here's our 2.5 pizzas down here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 halves. Whilst the number 3 is the same as 3 whole pizzas, which means there's 6 halves in all those pizzas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I hope we can understand that. If not, re-watch that, or if I'm your teacher, come and ask me about that, because that's pretty important. Right, and I hope we can also notice that these numbers here I'm about to circle, because the top's bigger than the bottom, they're what we call improper fractions, because the numerator is of course bigger than the denominator. Let's do 1, and you're going to have a go at this one this time. Let's do 1, you're going to have a go at this one this time. So, okay, and you can see I've divided up the number line into quarters now. So there's 0, and there's 1, and there's 2. If you're really clever, you can work out that this is a quarter, and this is 2 quarters, and, 2 quarters, not 2/3. This is a quarter, and this is 2 quarters, and this is 3 quarters here, and so on. Have a go at putting a dot where 5 quarters should be. Have a go at putting a dot for me where 5 quarters should be. Pause me and have a go. Pause me and have a go. Okay, I hope you've paused me, and I hope you worked out that, this is a quarter, this is 2 quarters, this is 3 quarters. 1's exactly the same as 4 quarters, isn't it? So 5 quarters would be the next quarter along, and you should have put a dot exactly there. Right? Let's have another go. Put a dot for me at 7 quarters. Show me where the dot would go at 7 quarters. Thank you. Pause me and have a go at that. Okay, I hope you've paused me, and I hope you've worked out that, this is 5 quarters, isn't it? So 6 quarters, and this would be 7 quarters. And the dot should, of course, go here. I wonder if you can work out where a dot would go at 8 quarters. How much is 8 quarters equal to on the number line? Right? 8 quarters. 8 quarters of a pizza. Here you go. There's 8 quarters of a pizza. How many pieces, how many pizzas is 8 quarters of a pizza equal to? Put a dot at that point on the number line. Pause me and have a go at that. Thanks very much. Okay, I hope you paused me, and I hope you've gone, okay, 8 quarters is here, Mr. Burns. It's exactly the same as the number 2. And now, just to be extra clever, where's 9 quarters? Go on, see if you can put a dot at 9 quarters. Pause me. Pause me. Put a dot at 9 quarters. Right, I hope that you put a dot. Well, I hope you went along. I hope you went right. 2 and another quarter is going to be, whoopsie-daisy, I like it black. Sorry about that. 9 quarters is the same as just 2 and 1 quarter. We can just add another quarter of a pizza down here if you don't mind. So there's 9 quarters of a pizza, isn't it? That's 9 quarters. And 9 quarters, of course, would just be here, wouldn't it? And for those of you who are really clever, you might have worked out that 9/4 is exactly the same as 2 1/4. It's just we call 9/4 an improper fraction and 2 1/4 a mixed number because it's got a whole number and a fraction in it. We're going to learn about mixed numbers later on. Here's another one just for you. Here's another one just for you. Okay, this number line's divided into fifths, isn't it? Because there's 5 equal bits between the numbers, isn't it? So, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this number line's divided into fifths. Alright? And just let me help you out even more if that's okay. I might just say, like, this is, of course, 2 1/5 here. This, isn't it? Which is the same as... whoops a daisy. Actually, I'm just going to change my mind there. I think that's probably a bit tricky for you. I'm going to get rid of these numbers. I'm still going to keep it fifths if that's alright. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this 0 here. That's better. 0 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0 to 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0 to 2. Okay. So of course, here's your 0, isn't it? There's your 0 and there's 1/5 and there's 2/5 and there's 3/5 and there's 4/5 and there's 5/5 and there's 6/5. Okay, great. And you know what? I hope that helps you out. Okay, because I'm going to rub all that out now a little bit anyway. Maybe I'll keep you that much. That'll help you out. Okay. Can you please put a mark for me on 8/5? Show me where 8/5 is. Put a dot there for me, thanks. Put a dot where 8/5 is. Pause me and do that. Pause me and do that. Okay, this is what I hope you did. I hope you went 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 5/5, 6/5, 7/5, 8/5. There it is. That's where 8/5 is. Alright? What about can you put a dot where 5/5 is for me? Oh no, that's not an improper fraction, is it? Don't do 5/5. Do a dot for me where oh, this is a good one. 10/5 is. Where's 10/5? You'll see it's actually equal to a whole number, right? Have a go at finding 10/5 for me. Put a dot for me there. So pause me and you do that now. Thanks very much. Where's 10/5? Okay. 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 5/5, 6/5, 7/5, 8/5, 9/5. Okay, here's 10/5. There it is, and you can see exactly that 10/5 is exactly equal to 2. Okay. That should help you with the mathematics activity. If you're still very stuck or not going so well on the activity, come and see me and we can talk about that. Otherwise, thank you for listening and being part of this improper fraction lesson. Thanks, team.